Okay guys, we're back out here. As you see, I'm cleaning up. There's the box for Tom Noble. Sorry it's been delayed, but just so much happening. What was I going to say? I just wanted to go over the engine real quick before we start working on it and cleaning it and reassembling it. So just to go over what it is. Okay, obviously it's an AMC engine. We'll start from the bottom to the top. From the bottom, we have an 8-quart Meladon pan. Working your way up, you got a steel crank. I have a set of Scat H-beam rods in here that are custom made for the engine. I have a set of Ross pistons in here, obviously forged, that are custom made to the engine. The top of the pistons are shaped to the combustion chamber. Okay, from the factory they sat down 60 thousandths in the hole. Now they're sitting flush with the deck. That's huge for power. Not because of the compression gain, but just because of the inefficiency in the wedge. Okay. The cam in here is a custom ground Schneider. Okay. Push rods, competition cam, pro somethings or something. I don't really remember the name. They're on there. Okay. It says Magnum, but I know they're Pro Series or whatever it is. Cylinder heads are 18 degree. AMC heads, they started out as 58 cc's. They're now down to 53. They started out as 202.5 intakes with 1.65 exhaust. They now have 2.055 intakes and 1.740 exhaust in there. Intake valve is 100 thousandths longer, small block Chevy valve. The exhaust valve is a big block Ford valve. I went from a 3/8 stem to an 11/32 for more flow. Obviously, what you call bronze valve guides. The springs are commotion springs, big block Mopar. All the retainers, keepers, and all that stuff is all comp cams, as well as the seats that they're sitting on. The studs are screw-in studs from a small block Chevy, long version, 7/16. The rocker arms are Hall and Sharp 1.6s. We talked about the oil modification. If I'm not mistaken, if I remember right, the timing chains are double roller Cloys. I got a high flow oil filter housing on here, which AMC made for just a handful of years. I got my hands on one. Big difference. And that is the reason you do this, because the oil comes from the back of the motor through a galley, through the block, through the pump, up the front, and then back and feeds. And when they did their NASCAR racing and their Pro Stock, they were having problems with the rear bearing at high RPMs. So having a little bit of an issue, so they came out with this and that cured it. So anybody that builds an AMC motor automatically puts that setup in there. They also do a second one that comes down and you drill through the front cover to lube the distributor gears. But that's people battle back and forth whether it's worth it or not. I didn't do it. This is my 11th year. I don't see a problem. I just know every time I change the distributor, I transfer the gear with it. AMC, the gears are not part of the cam. They hook on the front, similar to a Ford, but different. And I think the rest of the stuff you guys have seen. That's an Edelbrock Ultra Ram 18. It's not their street tunnel ram. That was designed for Pro Stock. Wally Booth ran it. Okay, all the Pro Stock guys were running that manifold. It was designed just for them. And he made it for 3 years, I think it was. Very limited production. Yeah, of course the batteries went dead. You know I got a double nitrous setup, hiding in the back there. Never tried to hide it, but with the 2 plates, have them toned all the way down to 100 shot total, 50 per plate. That's the least I can get out of it if I want to use it. Transmission in the car is a 727. Everybody knows that's a Mopar tranny. Okay, lowered first gear, additional sprag or replacement sprag. I changed all the fulcrums inside for better mechanical advantage. They have what you call a Hemi band in there, which means the band is wider. I added two clutches to high gear. They're all Alto Reds clutches. The converter's a 3000 stall. It really needs a lot more, but we got to keep this thing on the street. And that's the reason the fluid still looks like that. Yeah, I can get into the 3500 $4,000, which it really needs, and the fluid will be toast. Manual valve body, no trans brake. That's pretty much, that's the whole driveline, minus it's got an AMC rear. You guys saw where the rear came from. It came from that AMX. Ladder bar suspension in the back. That's it, just a regular posi out in the back. More leaning towards a street gear than a race gear because it is a street car. Yeah, the car could use a little bit more converter. The car could use a little bit more gear. And a couple odds and ends, and it'd be a nice bracket car, I'm sure, to have fun with. But then you can't drive it on the street anymore. So that's pretty much the car in a nutshell. Everything else you guys know about. So there is nothing on this car that I haven't put on this car that I haven't touched in one way or another. Everything. I know you guys, it got cut out of the video right down there, and the forward solenoid's the line lock. The one behind it's the adjustable proportioning valve. So yeah, so this car's been touched from front to rear, as well as the owner's touched too.